Who should you marry? A kingdom citizen? And this one, I really need to spend time here because a lot of people think it is just a suggestion. When the Bible says, do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. You just understand, you are light and they are darkness.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Abigail's Niche. My name is Abigail. If you're a first timer, welcome. Here we film about faith, lifestyle, relationship, travels, and all the good stuff. In case you're a first timer again, this particular video is a continuation video on a particular video series that I started earlier this month. So we are on the second episodes of Wholesomely Single Series. Yay! And for returning subscribers, namaste. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for always staying true. You guys are the real G's. Now, recently we added more subscribers. Hello, first timers. Welcome. I appreciate every single one of you that subscribe. You didn't just stop at subscribing, you also watched the video, which is very, very important. So thank you. Thank you. Keep the comments coming in. Keep the likes, keep the sharing, and every other thing that you do to support this channel. Okay, we're not going to make this video longer. We're going to dive straight in. This is Wholesomely Single Series, and we are dealing with the part 2 of our single journey. Come along with me. So, this is Wholesomely Singles episode 2. Yeah, and we said we were talking about relationship. Now, see, I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that I'm going to give you a play-by-play how all my relationship, love life has been so far, but I'm certainly going to tell you few ones and lessons that I picked up along the while making this journey from my teenhood to adulthood. So, okay, where do we start? I'm trying to be as relaxed as possible, guys. It's not particularly easy facing the camera and talking about all of this. For a very personal person like myself, this is taking a whole lot. But yeah, for you guys, I can do anything, Abby. I will do anything possible to keep you not entertained. That's not just the goal, but to make sure that as many that comes to this channel find something impactful to walk away with. Right? Okay, let's go straight to the story. Yeah, relationship. Well, my relationship journey has not exactly been you see, a drop dead, right? A drop dead love story or love feel romantic movie kind of love life or relationship. For me, I grew up not particularly into the whole romantic stuff at first. Yes, I did a lot of Harley Quinns, back in the days, growing up teenager in secondary school, senior secondary school especially, you do a lot of Harley Quinn. See the way I'm saying back in the days as if it's very far. Well, it's quite far. But we did a lot of Harley Quinn, Seal Hut, all those fantasy romantic books that we read. And despite reading those books, because of my experience, I told you guys I was not particularly into the whole romantic stuff. Growing up as a teenager, despite my experience, in between those experiences and even after those experiences, I had always maintained that I wanted to live a pure life. I have always maintained that I wanted to be off relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend was certainly not for me. And then let me start with my father. My father back then, in my early teens, no, not early teens, even before I became a teenager, probably we were watching a movie and there's a wedding scene, and I just say, my wedding, or my neighbors then who knew that I shared a very, very, very sweet bond with my father would tease my dad and say, Kai, Uncle Abigail's wedding, and my father would be like, No, don't start talking to her about wedding. You zero your mind from marriage, zero your mind from wedding. After your first degree, you do masters, maybe even PhD self, who knows, before you will talk of wedding. My father watches this video, he will kill me. But yeah, those were things he would say. And so in my subconscious head, somewhere back then, it registered in my head that, oh, okay, you don't think man, you don't think marriage until after your masters or probably after your PhD. But growing up, of course, now both of us, including him, knows better. In fact, story for another day. This same person that said so how many years ago will now come back today and expect story for another day. So back to my original story. I grew up with no exact romantic marriage picture in my head. Definitely, I knew the kind of home I wanted. I knew I wanted a home that was similar to the one I grew up from, a godly home, a home where peace, love, joy, harmony reigns. And I also knew I would never want a home where it was just going to be me, my husband, my children. Yeah, I wanted something different. I wanted a home where others would definitely find safe haven. Okay, a home that will be open to as many as possible, because that is actually the kind of home I grew up under. Well, coming to secondary school, nothing like boyfriend, girlfriend. In my GS2, I started getting toasters. You know those toasters that would you'll be walking along the road and they'll try to stop you, all those area boys and those funny kind of boys. I started getting toasters. But beyond that, nothing serious. Then in my JSS3, while we were writing WAEC, my friends in secondary school now decided to arrange their brother for me. Yes. So I had these two sisters who were my classmates and they were also my friend. We were both quite, we're all quite close, myself and the two sisters. And somehow I've always been a good girl. I tried to be a good girl. So they took interest in me and they started talking to me about their brother, who in their own opinion was a lot like me in the aspect of being a church girl. Okay, he was also a church boy. So they wanted me to meet their brother and they kept sowing this seed. You know, my brother is handsome, my brother is kind, my brother is cool, you will like him, and they kept sowing those seeds into my head. And of course, being a naive teenager, I actually took interest. On the other hand, they will go back home and they will tell their brother, you need to meet this classmate of ours. She's tall, she's fine. And they always say he had a thing for tall, slim girls. And back then, I was like, bah. I can't really say I miss that part of me, but yeah, I miss it actually. Okay, so I was tall and slim. So they will so see, oh, she's a good girl, she's very intelligent, she's a church girl like you would want to meet her. So somehow they arranged. One day after school, they took me home to go and meet their brother. I went to, and getting there, I met their brother. No. Prior to that, they actually brought his picture to school and collected one of my picture. I remember then we used to do this thing where each person would come with pictures, from home, and during break or maybe before lesson or during lessons, like after school lessons, we'll take out those pictures and start looking through them. So during those times, they seized one of my picture and they took it home to their brother and brought one of his for me. I think I still have that picture. I threw it away recently or so. So yeah. After school that fateful day, I followed them home and yeah, I met their brother. Handsome guy, cool-headed actually, good looking, tall. Yeah, just I would describe him as actually all they said he was. And we started talking. I was shy, he was also shy, but we're talking. He was in his second or third year in the university then, and he was also the MD of their church. So, he was typical good church guy that had a rating of 9/10 or 8/10 as far as physical appearances were concerned. So we started talking, we exchanged numbers, and those days were in the days of to go. This generation will not know that one. In case you're a teenager and you're watching this video, you will not know what to go is. But back then, to go is what WhatsApp is to this generation. Like if you were a young person growing up and you were not to go in, I wonder what you were doing before BlackBerry, or probably BlackBerry was existing, but for our level then, to go was the in thing. So we exchanged numbers and is it our username on to go, or I can't even remember how we're doing it again. But we shall exchange those details and we started talking. Before I will continue, let me pause and bring out two lessons or one lesson. Going back to what my father said about me, I think it is very important the parents watch what they say around their children. I'm not saying what my father said was bad or was completely wrong. It's a good thing to desire something for your child. But you should also remember that whatever you say, words are powerful. They have a way of coming back to subconsciously enter your child. See, I worked almost all my life with that consciousness that the only time I can settle down for marriage or settle down maritally is after my master's degree or PhD. Now, this is not bad, like I said, it is completely awesome if you have the opportunity and you go to school. But I want to also use this as an opportunity to chip in to other parents that just the same way this one that was not so bad sunk into my subconsciousness, it is very easy for anything at all that you say to your child to sink into that child, even years later. That is why the Bible said, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will never depart from it. Back to my story. So we started talking, we started to going, we started, secondary school, childhood love. I wouldn't really say what I had for him was love then, but I was actually a bit really into the guy, and I think he was too. We had a lot of interest together, so it was very easy to flow. Like I said, he was a church boy, I was a church girl. So we're not talking romance, we're not talking romance, sorry. We're not talking sex or all those stuff. We're basically talking church, different types of church. We're talking about books, and I was an ardent reader. See, work is spoiling somebody. I used to be literally crazy about reading books. I'll read Seal Hot at the same time. I'll read Rebecca Brown, and then I was super crazy about Rebecca Brown. I read almost all her book. I was also crazy about T.D. Jakes' books and other books that I would buy with whatever money I saved during break time. So we had books to talk about, we had the Bible to talk about, we had preachers to talk about. He would tell me his favorite preacher, and back then, because of my experience, T.D. Jakes was like my biggest place of relief. I would go spend money buying his tapes. YouTube was not exactly a thing then, so you are left with watching his CDs. And I had a cousin who was living around then that was also into TD Jakes, so I would borrow his tapes or his CD plates and I would watch, and it was such a blessing, and it stayed power for me that period. So we had those things we would talk about, and then sometimes we'll talk a little bit of romance. What kind of home do you want? What kind of family do you look forward to? What do you look forward in a man? And back then, I actually did not really have a complete picture of what I wanted in a man. I mean, I was in GS3 preparing to go to SS1. For all I know, I was probably 15 or 14. So I didn't really have a complete picture of what I wanted in a man, like I said. So we had those things we'll talk about, okay, what kind of life do you want? What job? What do you want to become in life? What do you want to read in school? When you get to the university, and yeah, those stuff we'll discuss. It was fun while it lasted. So we would talk. Now those days were equally the days of extra fool. Shout out to another thing this generation is missing out on. See, then if you have a boyfriend, or if you had a boyfriend, you would wake up exactly 12 a.m. Was it 12 or 12:30 a.m.? And both of you would talk for as long as possible until 6 a.m. So we're making very good use of extra cool. I would make sure I quickly finish reading or doing whatever I was doing, so that once it's 12 a.m. I won't sleep, because the fear of when you sleep, you may not wake up that time. So I would stay awake once it's 12 a.m. and he'll call or I will call. I will just talk. See, I was among the few persons that had a phone then. I had this cute portable Motorola my dad bought for me when I clocked, is it 13? Then see, maybe today that man don't spoil me from. So yeah, we would talk, chat, and it was a whole new experience for me. It was sweet while it lasted. We didn't really see often. We didn't go out. We spent mostly on phones, and yeah. Each time he even suggested we go out, it was not possible because I didn't want him to spend money or squander money. I wanted to be sure I knew what I was getting myself into before I permitted all of that. So that's how we continued until my SS1. I started getting more closer to God. And I knew I had to let go of some things. Like, it wasn't just my person to keep doing that. Number one, I felt he was not really giving me the attention that I was wanting, perhaps, yes, that I was desiring inside, because I wanted beyond phones, and sometimes I would even be the one to call, so it was annoying. And I had always had this healthy pride. I have always had this healthy pride. Okay, so that was number one. Then number two, he was becoming a distraction to my academics, to my relationship with God. So I called him up one day and I told him it was over, like I could not continue. And he was like, why? What's wrong? We're not doing anything bad. And really, we're not doing anything bad. We're not saying anything bad. But I was just losing peace over it, because like I said, he was not like giving me the attention. I mean, he was still a young man, struggling, still under his parents' care. And I'd always had this sense of responsibility as a person, that if I was going to be a guy to date a lady, I would definitely take up some responsibilities. I'm not saying give me everything, but I was not even looking for more. Sometimes I would on my own send him recharge card as a GSS3 student. I was that stupid. Thinking, looking back, I was that stupid. So I would send him recharge card, but he would never replicate the same. And the only thing he would do was send me messages, send me songs, send me a letter when his sisters are coming, or a picture or something like that. So I was not okay with it, and most especially I was losing peace when I started going close to God, and I felt it was becoming a distraction. So I called him up one of those regular days of extra cool, and we talked. I said, okay, for now I need to concentrate on my studies. I need to concentrate on my relationship with God, and become everything he wants me to become. Later in life, if we meet and we still like each other and it is God's way, why? We'll get married. And he said, okay, even though he was not happy, or he's not happy because we're not doing anything wrong, he will respect my decision. Well, he didn't really take me serious, because he felt I was a small girl, and like he will always chip in time to time. You're a small girl now, it's just that you are mature upstairs. So he didn't really take my words serious. He kept calling, going regularly, but my response to him started dropping. So he took the hint and stopped calling altogether. Well, the sisters did get angry with me. They tried to convince me, sweet talk me, but I was done. That was my SS1. And after that, I said, no, sweet girl, concentrate on your studies, face life, and all of that. Now, let me pause to say that as a teenager, as a secondarian, it is very, very important that you stay off relationship. I don't know what you're looking for. Now, some people will come for me because there are certain persons who married their husband. The guy they dated while they were in secondary school is who they are married to. Congratulations, that was your era. Our time now, or this period, is completely different. This era is completely different. So back then, there are a lot of things, a lot of distractions, a lot of temptations already for you to add a relationship as a secondary school student to your already almost distracted life as a growing teen in a computer age. I would say it will be too much of a burden to bear. So you should stay off relationship. Focus on your studies. Know yourself. Focus on discovering yourself. There is this joy in self-discovery and awareness. Knowing who you are, knowing who God says you are, knowing what you're supposed to do, knowing the kind of life that God has laid out for you. It is very sweet. Trust me. So it is very important that you spend that early period of your life discovering yourself, understanding life. It's not that you just started life and the next thing you're already carrying the load of another person. I don't know about others, but for me, I would definitely advise, just like I would advise my teenagers in church or anywhere, that look, forget about relationship as a secondary school student. In fact, in your teenage age, you should stay away from relationship. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, even 19. That you are 18 does not mean you are mentally mature or emotionally mature or even physically mature enough for marriage or relationship. Relationship takes a lot, so you should actually know the right time. The Bible says there's a time for everything. Know the right time for your life before you venture into relationship. Focus on your studies. Help yourself. You will have a whole lifetime ahead of you to spend it living life with another person. Let's go back to our story. So yeah, I ended that and I continued living my life. I was getting closer to God. I was doing all of my church stuff. I was already a Sunday school teacher then, and a host of other things. Until I reconnected back with my childhood friend. That's junior WAEC period actually. After my junior WAEC, I traveled with my mom she went for a course, and then she was taking care of her last baby. So I usually was the one that would travel with her to take care of him. I would miss school for as much as a month safe and take care of my younger brother. It was not so much of a big deal because no matter how much of school I missed, then I would still come back to take sixth position or fifth or even fourth. Let me brag small. So it was not so much of a big deal for me. I would always read to cover up. So I reconnected in one of those trips. I reconnected back with my childhood friend, a guy. And we started talking. It was sweet. It was awesome. Finally having somebody you can talk with. And we're not discussing, like I said, romance again. It was nothing like that. It was just us being friends, good friends. We discussed everything, and like I said, I've always been a personal person, so I didn't really discuss personal stuff with him. I'm sure if he's watching this video, some things may come as a shock to him because I didn't really discuss any of those things I was dealing or struggling with him. So I reconnected back to him. We'll talk, until I even graduated from secondary school, got into the university, my first day in the university, and he finally came to see me in school. Okay, we were connected, we talked, and then he was preparing to travel out. So he wanted to come and formalize what we had going. Back then, when we were still talking, he had a girlfriend. He had his girlfriend. So it was nothing relationship. It was just us being friends. But immediately he broke up with his girlfriend, and immediately I got to my first year, he was planning to travel out, like I said. So he came and said he wanted to formalize whatever relationship we shared and wanted us to take it to another level. Possibly even get married before he traveled out. Well, that didn't go well with me because I understood myself. I understood the fact that I was dealing with some things or the aftermath of some things I needed to heal. I didn't explain all of this to him. I also knew I was not ready for marriage at all, and that if you leave me with marriage, I was going to mess it up. In fact, I was so scared of I was so scared of marriage. Marriage won't kill me. No, that is so much of a responsibility that I was not up for. So painfully, we had to part ways. Painfully because I actually did like him, and I didn't like how we parted ways. Okay, so it happened that when I met my spiritual father, like I said, he of course, like a good father would want, he wanted to know, okay, um he wanted to know much more about me and asked me questions. And when it got to the part of relationship, I actually told him I didn't really have a relationship, but I had someone that were quite close. And at that point, he had already asked me out, and I told my spiritual father that, oh, see, he even asked me out, and he's even serious. He wants to get married to me. And he said, okay, that's good. What is my take on it? But I told him I was not ready for marriage, and I actually was not. In my head, in my mind, in my heart, everywhere, I could love you to the point my heart will hurt, but bring up marriage, that was a no-no for me. I was not ready. And it was first because like I said, I was going through what I was going through. I needed healing. I needed, just time out, space. Let me enjoy myself being alone. Okay, that was what I wanted. And then also because I knew the time was not right for me to venture into relationship or marriage. That was how he said, okay, so what do I want to do? That's my spiritual father asking. And I said, no, I've already made up my mind to do something. No, I want to actually, even though we don't have an official thing yet, because I actually had not said yes to him. I liked him. I think it's even safe to say I loved him then, because it was kind of pure and genuine and deep, but I knew I was not ready. And so I wanted to end things with him. So my spiritual father then asked me if I was very sure that that was the best decision to make. What if I make him understand that's the guy, make him understand better that this is what I'm going through, and I wasn't ready for that either. So I said no, and I didn't really have peace about the whole thing. I actually did not. So I said no, I was not ready, and I'm going to say it to him. And that was exactly what I did. I remember the night I called him, and to tell him I was going to call up everything. I was crying at the other end of the phone. I don't think he knew, or maybe he did, but I was crying, and I said I wanted everything to end because I was coming to discover these new parts of myself, the whole new journey with God, and every other thing was seeming like a distraction to me. I was, trying to be whole. I was broken, and I knew I needed fixing. So that was how I ended things with that guy, and yeah, I was really single for most parts of my university days, but I had someone that I liked, and we were talking. It was just kind of waiting for me to, graduate before we officially started dating. And that was what happened during my service year, was when we started dating and all of that. I'm not going to go into that particular story yet because, like I said, this is just a clip of a whole story that is going to come up much later. But now let me go back to my relationship with this childhood friend of mine. Now see, it was a pure relationship. It was cool. We were friends. We would talk anything and everything. And even though we didn't have particular interest, we had a lot to talk about. We had similar backgrounds, so it was very easy to blend and talk. And I'm very big on communication, so we had certain shared interests. Of course, we had a lot to talk about, and he was very kind and nice to me. I can't even lie, he was. But because of what was up with me, I didn't really I was not ready. I wanted to be whole before I could consider accepting anything more than what we were sharing at that particular point. Let me say that it's very important as a single person that you give yourself enough time to understand yourself, enough time to discover yourself, and not just jump into a relationship because, number one, you have attained the age of maturity, quote and unquote. Number two, because every other person is in a relationship, you should jump into one yourself. Number three, because because you are lonely or because you want to feel among, you should jump into a relationship. It is not smart and wise to jump into a relationship for the wrong reasons. On the other hand, I would definitely say it is necessary that you know yourself. Know thyself. That's one of the very first steps to conquering life, to conquering the world, to conquering everything. Know yourself, understand your journey, and not force things just because every other person is participating in it. Number two, I must say that if you know you have an underlying issue, if you know that you have an underlying issue, you have something that is wrong, fundamentally wrong, it is smart that you don't start a relationship and end up spoiling something good that God has given to you. Let me buttress this point. You see, that guy was a good guy. I can't take that away from him. He was good. He although good is not a fruit of the spirit, but he was a good guy, and he was someone I was comfortable with. I don't really see any reason physically for me not to have accepted him then. But I knew that if anything was going to damage that relationship, it was going to be me. And so God helped me to be smart enough to have ended things when I did, because if I had not, I would have actually spoiled that beautiful thing that we had going. Today we are still friends and we talk very much well, some stories I don't want to go into, but imagine we had broken up in a very painful manner because I was not healed at all. My wounds were still very much fresh, and bringing that whole baggage I had carried from my experience into the relationship would have certainly ruined it in a very painful manner. And that would have been another heartbreak story entirely. So it's important that you know yourself, understand your journey, know when the timing is right. Don't let anybody dictate the timing for you. You yourself should understand when it is the right time for you to venture into a relationship. And don't just venture into a relationship. One of the things I knew I wanted for myself was I didn't want to test here. I wanted a relationship that would be once and for all the man I was going to settle with in marriage. So even though back then, no matter how much you liked me, even though I had made enemies, I would not say yes to you just because you loved me and you were showering me with love, attention, affection. I would make sure I hear God enough, study you enough to be sure that you are someone I want to do the forever journey with. Very much know yourself, very much understand your journey, very much understand your timing, and work with that timing for your life. I'm not going to say so much, but so far, this is all I want to talk about in this series about my relationship journey. Okay? I've not really had it sweet and rosy, or then I didn't really have it sweet and rosy as relationship was concerned. I had people I liked genuinely and even loved at some point. But like I said, until I was whole, it was very difficult for me to give myself wholly to a relationship. Deal with your issues. Those underlying issues, deal with them. The Bible talks about little foxes that spoil the vine. Know those foxes that are likely to spoil your relationship. Outline them and deal with them accordingly. Don't bring those baggages into your relationship and then end up spoiling whatever good thing that you have going. I hope that you have learned. I hope I've been able to bring out small points for you. And I'm sure that you on your own will definitely pick out 1 or 2 points along the journey. I'm not saying my journey is perfect. I'm not saying I made the right choices all the time. There were times I made very foolish, stupid decisions, but I certainly would tell you that I have learned from every single one of them. And every day it is as if things get clearer and things get brighter. Another very good side of allowing yourself to be matured enough before you venture into a relationship. Okay, I'm going to stop here for today. Thank you so much for staying with me to this point. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to comment. Please, your comments are very important to me. I want to hear feedbacks. It will help me make adjustments in places as much as possible. I also want you to help turn on the notification bell for first time subscribers so that you will know when I upload all the amazing stuff I'm going to be uploading. Okay, still on this series, the next time we'll be seeing we're going to be talking about heartbreaks, loneliness, all the seeming downsides of being single. I'll see you in my next video. Ciao ciao.